Hey everybody, Joseph Renola, Associate Broker, Matthias Real Estate, Staten Island, New York City. So every week, every Sunday, I send out a newsletter to a couple thousand people on Staten Island, Brooklyn, Manhattan. I decided starting today, I'm going to start also making a video for it. So I'll be sending out the newsletter and then I'll be posting the video here. Some people maybe don't like to read or, would rather just watch a video. It's easier. Whatever the case may be, every Sunday we'll be here with a new video summarizing my newsletter that went out. I will try to keep it concise for you. So also bear with me. Today's my first one. So you're going to see me looking back and forth between my notes and such. I'll get it all ironed out in the next week or two. But anyway, let's get into it. So as always, I like to provide you with some light reading, or in this case, watching, based on Staten Island, Brooklyn, New York City, and beyond. So let's get into it. This week's news. Buyers are back. Buyers are back. It's 2024. It is like a switch flipped on January 1st, January 2nd, maybe people needed a day to relax. But what I'm seeing in this first month, we just closed out January. What I saw in this first month, I have not seen since, I don't know, June or July of 22, right? The market kind of fell flat on its face once the rates shot up 4, 5, 6, almost 7, went flat, right? Sat, nothing happened for second half of 22, all of 2023. It was really a desolate year. No one's transacting. The switch flipped. I picked up, I think, 6 or 7 buyers in the first week or two alone. We're making offers. I had to enlist an agent in my office to help me with showings. I'm just so inundated with, my buyers want to get out there and see properties. So it's great. Love it. So I actually also, as far as my listings, right? Listings were sitting unless they were grossly underpriced or really like a price that someone would be like, wow, okay, I guess I'll buy it. If it wasn't priced like that, a lot of properties have been sitting, right? Especially if they're over that median price range. If it's median and below, there's a better chance, right? People are trying to get something affordable, but when you start to get past, which median in Staten Island is about 700,000, if you're over that range, the houses are just sitting. And again, even the ones under the range are sitting. But my current listings are getting a lot of activity. I have like 7 showings on one of my listings between today and tomorrow. And we already had 3 or 4 earlier today. We had a couple yesterday. So between that, I signed a couple contracts this week. There's a lot of stuff going on in the Staten Island real estate market. Brooklyn as well. Should be listing a Canarsie 2-family. Just a lot of stuff going on. So buyers are back. Next, during their meeting this week, the Feds, they didn't announce a rate cut for March, which was highly anticipated, right? Everyone's, waiting for that first cut. I didn't think that they would already start with the cut. They just pretty much announced that, like, listen, we're pausing it. And they did reiterate that in this meeting this week. They did reiterate that, listen, we are not rising, we're not going to be raising the rates anymore in the foreseeable future unless something crazy happens. We're pausing, right? They're saying we're on pause. But you know what? Like I said, I didn't think that they were going to cut right now anyway. So between them saying they're pausing, they're not raising them, and it being a little early for them to have cut them, I think we're going to be seeing a cut soon. My prediction, will come back here in a couple months, or I'll come back here in a couple months and I'll double check this. But my prediction is the first rate cut is coming in the second quarter, probably towards the end of the second quarter of this year. I think we're going to see our first cut. And when that cut happens, it's going to be nuts. It is going to be absolute bedlam. So, and it already is. So we will see. Next up, Surviving Staten Island. I wrote an ebook. It's almost 90 pages. It's a lighthearted, funny, kind of quirky, easy read on just kind of real estate, Staten Island in general, surviving out here, right? It's a unique, tough place to thrive. But I wrote an ebook and I sent it out I sent it out this week. I released it. I wrote it a couple years ago, but it just sat on the shelf and I got to it and I made it happen. I paid someone to format the whole thing for me because I was never going to get to that. And it's out there. It's out there as of this week. So it's going to be in my newsletter every week towards the bottom going forward. So feel free to just download it in there. It's free, of course. Next up, I'm going to change how I deliver my news. Now, this is more relevant in my newsletter. When you're looking at my newsletter, I used to kind of, literally up until today, I would just put 3 news articles. On top of everything else I'm talking about, I would then just put 3 articles, just stuff I found throughout the week based on anything in the real estate space. But now I want to dive in more, a little bit deeper. I'm going to break it up, right? We're going to segregate it into Staten Island news, buyer news, seller news, investor news, renter news. And I'll just put a couple articles in each and, just click around, see whatever pertains to you. I try to put interesting stuff, right? Stuff that kind of directly impacts you or will impact you, or, stuff that's just relevant to today and what's going on. So I like the way it looked today when it went out. So check that out. Let me know. Give me some feedback on that if you like that new kind of system, and we'll keep that going, hopefully. Next, Ready for Launch. Ready for Launch is back. That is the real estate investment meetup group that my broker and I created a couple months ago. I think halfway through 2023, we created it. We started doing monthly meetings, and it started to take off, and then it kind of fell off. I think the monthly, I think it was too much. So now we're doing it bi-monthly, and we also added a lot of value to it. So in my newsletter, I have the little, you can click to see the little PDF of what we've added to it, but it's a lot of stuff. It's cool. It's going to be interesting. So the first one is going to be, since we're relaunching it, the first one is going to be Monday, February 26th, 6:30 p.m. at our office, 418 Port Richmond Avenue, Staten Island, New York. Matthias Real Estate, of course. So that's that. Broker Open. If you are a broker agent listening to this, we are doing a Broker Open at our bank property. Really cool property. 181 Port Richmond Avenue. That's going to be tomorrow, Monday, at between 1 to 3 p.m. So stop in. We'll have some refreshments, drinks, and you can see a really cool property. It's been a lot of interest in it as like a wedding hall or event space, stuff like that. So next up, I put this every week. If you have a property that needs some fixing up or something you just want to sell, you got to get rid of it, let me know. I have a few investors, and they're all hitting me up, every week. Joe, what do you got? What do you got? We want to buy something tomorrow. So if you want to part with your property tomorrow, I got somebody for you. Let me know. So, okay, let's go through a quick blast of those news articles I told you about this week. I'll just give you a quick general summary. So, Staten Island General News, North Shore Reimagined. So, they touch on the sad story of the world's largest Ferris wheel that was slated for Staten Island. They even put the bases in and everything. They built a garage for it. I mean, it was happening, but it, for whatever reason, it was scrapped. It hung out for a little bit, but 2018, dead deal. But they, still, 60 million people visit New York City every year. Millions of those visitors take the ferry, right? It's the best ride in town to get a free boat ride in town to get some amazing views. So you have millions of people coming into Staten Island, and they just get on the ferry and go back. So they want to change that. I mean, they tried with the Empire Outlets and stuff, which I think the Empire Outlets are a world-class destination, but they just got to get food in there. They got to make things happen. So there is $400 million slated for the North Shore with development in the next year or two. So they're going to start, kind of eyeballing what they need to do and get on it. And I think it'll be a big help for Staten Island. I mean, $500 million. Hopefully it, leads to something. Seller news. A co-op board in Queens is preventing a seller from selling. They're denying all of his buyers. That's the scary thing about co-op boards. It makes your property very illiquid, right? They're in control of you selling it, renting it out. They might not even allow you to rent it, whatever. They're in control when you buy it. They're in control of rehabbing your, updating it, whatever. You can't do anything. So it's a very kind of illiquid property to own. It's cheaper, typically, right? A one-bedroom co-op is going to be a lot cheaper than a one-bedroom condo. But are you okay with the nuances of a co-op and the co-op board that comes along with it? It's something you gotta, weigh. And I've obviously, I would help you weigh it out. If you come to me and you're interested in that sort of thing, we would figure everything out for you. Rules for selling in 2024. So this is kind of a lighthearted article that says the rules have changed for selling your house, right? It's not 2022 anymore or 21 where you could just post anything you want and it just flies off the shelves. It's also not 2018 anymore where it was a buyer's market and you had to kind of give everything away to sell your house. So it's unique. It's dynamic. It's changing. First rule that it says, buyers are back. That's what I told you. So are bidding wars, right? It's a good time to sell your home. Patience may be key to a higher offer. Haggle with the buyers. Don't just accept any offer like you would have had to last year. It also touches on the reality that rates are still nearly 7%, and it's not 2021, right? Other rules include that you do have to work hard to make your home stand out, which I think is the case no matter any market. If I'm listing your property, we're making it stand out. I'm never just like walking through with cell phone pictures and putting it up like that. We're doing major marketing. By the way, I'm sorry I sound nasally. I've been sick for like 3 weeks. Starting a Z-Pack today, so let's hope something happens with that. Okay, let's get on to buyer news. Housing market has returned to normal. This article is touching on how in the past week, like I said, it's like a switch flipped. The housing market is showing early signs of a return to normal. Feels like a spring market almost in January. It's got slowing median listing price growth, a growing inventory of homes for sale, and mortgage rates which have fallen more than 1% from their recent peak. It's been great. More buyer news. Fannie Mae unveiled a new $2,500 credit for home buyers. But to receive it, you do have to be the way they state it, very low income purchase borrower. So that's defined as those who earn at or below 50% of the area median income. So they're going to give you 2,500, but you also have to be making, not a lot of money. So I don't really know that I mean, anything helps, but is that enough to help you to get a house? I don't know. Lastly, for buyers, I included an article on the optimism surrounding mortgage rates. We're all optimistic, right? It essentially says a high share of consumers are anticipating mortgage rate declines over the next year. And that's pretty much, that's out there. You have to be under a rock if you don't know that that's what the case is right now. For investors, I put an article on the 10 best places to buy overseas. Pretty interesting article. I'm happy to have read it. It's literally all over the world, so it's pretty cool. It touches on buying plantations in Panama, to student rentals in Turkey, to city center apartments in Krakow, Poland. And it touches on why, appreciation or this or that or whatever the reasons are that these are good investments, which is cool to see worldwide. So check that out. And for renters, I have an article on how rents have fallen nationwide for the third straight month. The pending rate cuts have a part in this, right? Because this whole rate cut thing is changing everything. Those who have been forced to look for apartments are seeing that, hey, maybe there's light at the end of this tunnel, and maybe I don't need this apartment. Maybe I'll look to purchase a home again. Maybe it's within range. Okay, so that's the news for the week. Next up, I always put the properties that I have available. So I signed contracts. Few of my buyers this week. One of them was at my listing, 132 Castleton Avenue. So that's currently off the market. We do have signed contracts. Hopefully that goes all the way through. If it doesn't for whatever reason, I will let you know about it. As far as current inventory, I have 306 Alyssa Way, 1-bedroom, 2-bathroom townhome in Aspen Knolls with garage. Was just fully renovated, new floors, paint, counters, cabinets painted. It's really nice. It's very pretty. We recently reduced it from 335 to 332.5, and it got like 10 people, like I told you, showing it this weekend. A lot of stuff going on with that. Number 2, the one I told you about with the broker open house, 181 Port Richmond Avenue. This is originally the State Bank of Richmond County. It's a really cool building. It's been recently renovated. It's served as a church, other uses as well during its nearly 100-year lifespan. It's 4,000 square feet, which includes a 500 square foot loft over the main room that's expandable as well. It has a 3,500 square foot basement with a vault. It has the original vaults and other cool touches. It's got like gates and where they used to put money. It's cool. It has tons of potential as a wedding hall, an event space, Stuff like that. That's what's been getting a lot of the attention from the buyers that have been coming to see it. They're asking 1.5 million. They would lease it as well for 12,000 a month to the right sort of thing, but they have to, we'd have to weigh that because they really would prefer to sell it. But if the right deal comes along, they would consider leasing it. So, number 3, 90 Bay Street Landing, 6K. I could spend all day talking about this property. It's beautiful, luxurious studio with bonus room that, for all intents and purposes, is a bedroom. It's 15 by 15, king-size bedroom. It has a walk-in closet bigger than people's regular bedrooms. It's major apartment, fully outfitted, fully luxurious, state-of-the-art stuff. It's got a steam shower with glass that was smoked in Sweden. I mean, that's the kind of stuff we're talking about here. Everything was paid attention to. It's like living in the Waldorf Astoria. Got a balcony, perfect views of Manhattan, the harbor, right? So 2-minute private walk to the ferry. You'll be at Manhattan in 20-something minutes. It's really nice. Asking $675,000. Lastly, 7126 Amboy Road. This is a short sale, approved at 1.1 million. Humongous Victorian home, renovated 20 years ago. It's on a huge plot of land. It's in-ground pool, multiple floors, multiple balconies. Needs work. Excellent property for an end user. Let's talk about my mortgage rate corner. 30-year fixed is hovering around 6.9. 15-year fixed hovering around 6.25. We're still under 7, as we have been for a few months now. And with all the good news, it feels like we're here to stay and lower. Nobody has a crystal ball. We'll see as time goes on, but things are a lot less bleak than if we were sitting here talking about this in February of 2023. So I always put my weekly blog as well. I write a blog every other week or so. This week I spoke about how Zillow now allows you to record your rent payments so you can build credit. I just made a video for that, so be sure to check it out because there's a major thing I don't like about it. Of course, in my newsletter, I mentioned my project highlighting Staten Island, where my broker and I go around and highlight the best that this island has to offer. We just posted episode 75 this week, and we have very big things coming. Every business, every week, does a giveaway, a discount for our followers, so make sure you check that out as well, highlighting Staten Island on YouTube and Instagram. Have a coming soon corner, which posts properties that I have hitting the market soon, obviously. I got a bungalow in Newdor Beach coming, a single family that needs some work in Sunnyside, that's 10301. I have a 4-bedroom, 2,200 square foot loft in Manhattan for rent, and that 2-family in Canarsie that I told you about. Let me know if any interest, and I will explain further any of those to you. And then we're signing off. Let's sign off this week. Few things. Again, with rate cuts very likely to come by this spring or summer, now may very well be the bottom. Okay, once we see an actual cut, it's going to be bedlam out there, right? Way over ask. So get ready if you're a buyer. This is the time to buy, I think. I also ask for feedback on my free buyer and seller courses that I created. Please sign up for them. Let me know what you think. They're easily digestible emails. They have bite-sized, actionable steps at the end that help you really kind of learn what you're doing. I also include a gift at the end of each course that's valued at about $500, so it's definitely worth checking out. It's free, it just costs a little bit of your time, but you always have to be learning. And okay, that's it, guys. That's it for this week. So let's keep learning, let's keep pushing, let's get smarter about real estate. Have a great week.